All right, I think we're working. Are we live? Did it work? It did. It switched on its own. Look at that. Sorry about the image quality. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's hard to even say. But welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. There's the camera. I knew it was there the whole time. I did. The color and contrast aspects on this camera are just, what's the word? Ass? Yeah. Let me open up a window that shows the show program window. There we go. Now I can kind of see what's going on. A little, who can say? That said, like, subscribe, etc., and blah, 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 blah. Man, it was a fun day today. Holy smokes. Can I tell you, as, sorry, let's just line this sucker up. Come here, you. There we go. That's more on the direct line. I gotta say, it's been a long time since I've watched like a full hearing all the way through, and it's just been just joy top to bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. And by the way, welcome. Let's see if my see if my buttons work. See if this guy works. Go. There you are. And the chat is popping. There you are. Look at that. Huh? Care about I'm here. Okay. Visualize. Yeah. Well, the visual aspect of it does matter to me. I've just been grunging around in the garage, making this at least a little more acceptable. I feel ever so slightly better about it. And certainly, quality-wise, you'll at least be able to hear me very well. And over the next little bit, I will make mild improvements. But at the very least, we're here. You're here. I'm here. And the Trump administration is not all here. I got to say, let me tell you, the hearings today, can I just say, Mark Kelly, Ossoff, everybody, Bennett, everybody, just, man, it was a good time. It was hard not to enjoy it a little too much. Can I give you a little taste of it? And we'll do a little bit of a drop into this. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I got to say, the live hearing was magic. It's about 2 hours long, 2 and change, and then they broke and then had another. And they did another 2 hours in closed session. That's good. When you're like, when this is done, we get to have a real hearing. And this one already sucked. Oh, it was so good. So, anyways, in the process, here, I'll show you. Remember Rat's ass? Oh my God, what is this little screen? What happened here? What are you doing? This is adorable. Hold on. What in the world? Look at the tiny little corner there. Save, what is it doing? Safari? No, I don't want that. I want primary display. There you go. That's better. Jesus. What the hell? That was hilarious. Okay, there's Rat's ass. That's John Rat's ass, who is Trump's CIA director. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't intelligence their middle name? Yeah. An agency would give the illusion of a group working together for a cohesive goal, as in agents, and the ability to do action on one's own behalf legally, intellectually, philosophically, psychosexually. You would have agency, the ability to take action and have that action have ramifications in the real world. And then the central part, like, this is where it all goes and meets. This is the center of the known intellectual universe. Now I'm just fucking with you. This guy doesn't know where anything is. Like, before a hearing, when he knew this would be the #1 topic, he didn't even peruse the article. I take that back. I'm sorry. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. That's my fault. He says he didn't take time to peruse the article, which is what is commonly referred to in my circles as hornswoggle, horse shit, as it were. And let's give it a shot. Is this the Ossoff one? Is it? No, this is Bennett. Okay, so this is Bennett. I'm going to save Ossoff for you because, man, I've never seen him. And by the way, you like my new pointer? Hello, boink, boink. Yeah, here we go.
Director Radcliffe, it sounds to me like your testimony today and the Secretary and the DNI's testimony is that there was nothing wrong at all with the signal thread that you were on, that it didn't include any targeting information or battle sequence.
Oh, by the way,
that is your
what?
testimony. That's your
Okay.
testimony.
What in the world? Get out of here, you silly thing.
And I'm a little staggered that that is your view, Director Radcliffe. Does the CIA have any rules about handling of classified information? Yes or no?
That's the opening question. Okay, so after the lead-in, does the CIA have any rules about the handling of classified information? I mean, they might as well just rolled in, teabagged these folks, and left.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Quit it, you. I don't want you to play the music.
Thank you, Director Radcliffe. Do you agree, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said this morning when asked by members of the press what had happened, he said this morning in Hawaii that Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeff Goldberg is a, quote, deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's...
But, by the way, that the president's national security advisor invited to a top secret chat. So let's just give them all the labels. Jeffrey Goldberg is a fucking sleazebag. He's a danger. He's the enemy of the goddamn people. He is discredited and a hoaxer. He makes things up. And your national security advisor invited him to a top secret chat. Who indeed is the greater fool? The fool or the fool who allows him into the chat? Oh, by the way, hi, chat. And hello, maggots. I know there's going to be a bunch of, maggots and trolls out here because your guys are having a rough one. So you got to go and do damage control. So thanks for coming. Don't forget to hate and give a thumbs down and subscribe and unsubscribe. So it looks like my number went up and down. And it's like, I don't know what the fuck you do.
A profession of providing hoaxes time and time again. Do you share that evaluation, the Secretary of Defense's evaluation of Jeff Goldberg?
Yes, complete scumbag. Doesn't belong anywhere near the halls of power. A danger, if I may, to the American people. That's why the NSA invited him to the chat to participate and just kind of sit in the corner. Because that's what you want. You got a kid's birthday party, Charles Manson, invite him over, let him sit in the corner. Maybe masturbate. It's Charles Manson. I mean, you obviously he's awful, but his number was in your phone, so pow.
A journalist.
Senator, I didn't see those comments. I don't know Jeff Goldberg.
So do you share that view of the Secretary of Defense?
Well, I don't have a view on.
Okay. Do you assuming that he has that?
Should any reporters ever be invited to a top secret chat where people are discussing battle plans before they happen? I mean, I guess everything's a plan before it happens. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Is that what we're doing?
I'm curious about whether you are the CIA director, okay?
Let's not get carried away.
This has happened. We know it's happened. Did Jeff Goldberg somehow, did he create a hoax that allowed him to become part of this signal thread? Please answer the question. You don't insult the intelligence of the American people.
Yeah, but hold on. Those are contradictory statements. He can't answer the question and not insult the intelligence of everyone watching. I mean, whenever this asshole talks, when Radcliffe speaks, it's an insult to anybody who has to listen to it. Just saying.
He invite himself to the signal thread?
I don't know how he was invited, but
You're the CIA head. I know how he was invited. You chat room, hold on. Chat room. Do you guys know how he was invited? It was Waltz. It was the president's national security advisor added him to the chat. There's actually it's actually in the record of who was invited and how. That's how all these things start. When you invite someone and you're the person who brought them in, there's a record of the fact that they were brought in. But he got an invite. He has that invite That's how you know. And the CIA director, the Central Intelligence Agency head, has no idea how this guy got in the chat, even though every fucking body knows how he got in the chat. This is so goddamn good. This is so good. And it's not going away. Genius. Now I understand how you got to be the I in the C and the A. Yes. No, you have not. You have not seen conflicting reports. And by the way, sorry, sorry, rats. I'm not playing the video. Beg your pardon. 1 second. Button off. There we go. Sorry. Still funny. You're hearing it. Okay.
The reporter to the signal messaging
it's
group.
perfectly
It was in preview mode. Sorry.
There was a reporter added, especially one that the Secretary of Defense says is deceitful, highly discredited, a so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes over and over again.
And someone in the Oval Office invited that person to a top secret signal group.
Is your testimony that it was appropriate that he was added to this signal thread?
No, of course not. And
why
Senator,
did you not call?
Hold on, Senator. You're mischaracterizing my testimony.
Good. You answered the question. Let me ask you: when he was added to the thread, you're the CIA director. Why didn't you call out that he was present on the signal thread?
Right. Yeah, you're supposed to be centrally where intelligence finds agency.
I don't know if you use signal messaging app.
Oh, fuck you. Have you ever been on Tinder? You know how confusing that is?
I do. Not for classified information, not for targeting,
Well, neither
not
do I,
for anything
Senator.
remote.
Neither do I, Senator.
Well,
To
that's
be
what
clear,
your testimony is today.
It absolutely is not, Senator. Were you
No,
not
I'm saying
listening
your
at the beginning?
No,
When I said that I was using it as permitted, it is permissible
I
to
agree
use.
that's your testimony.
Yeah.
I agree that's your testimony. You asked me if I use it, and I said not for targeting, not for classified information.
And I said I don't.
Also, real quick, there's going to be a lot of stuff to hit on this, but I would like to point out, if I may, because I don't know that anybody else is pointing this out, is that when Radcliffe says, I don't use it for classified stuff, okay, there is information that as it comes to light has to be classified if it is to be disseminated outside a group, but when it's brought up internally is of a classifiable nature from the start. So when J.D. Vance is disagreeing with the president in one of these areas, this is where you would see somebody exerting executive privilege to hide this conversation. That means that ultimately that conversation would be classified if the idea is it will go beyond these walls, right? Secondly, the fact that the CIA director has no idea who else is on the fucking Signal group, which is an app you can buy on the Apple store or in the Google fucking store. The fact that you're using it. Now, we've been through this before. Petraeus got his Gmail hacked. That's how they found out he had an affair. And that's what was used to get it, ended up costing him his job. But the idea that you wouldn't know that Gmail can be hacked is reason enough, even if you weren't having the affair, to lose your job as the fucking head of the CIA. Same thing here. You shouldn't be the head of the CIA if you're like, I don't know, I downloaded it, I use it, you use it, everybody uses it. I had no idea they could hack my television set just because it has a camera attached to it and listen in on every conversation. Really?
Either.
I also know Jeff Goldberg. I don't use it to communicate with him. But you thought it was appropriate. By the way, I think he's one of the more outstanding journalists in America. But I'm shocked to find him on a thread that he's reading.
Yeah, just for the record, Bennett's saying that he's one of the most outstanding journalists on the in the industry, and yet he would not invite him to a similar Signal group. And imagine if you think he's a scumbag, a sleazebag. I'm sorry, that's what Trump called him.
In the parking lot of a grocery store in Washington, D.C., and your testimony.
Oh, by the way, the tail end of this is the best. Bennett just like saves it to the end.
As the director of the CIA, is that it's totally appropriate. Is it appropriate?
No,
that the
Director, that is not what I.
Okay,
when did
go
I say
ahead,
it was?
please.
When did I use the word appropriate?
Well, go ahead, please.
Well, I didn't.
Great. Then say it's inappropriate. We'll wait. If you're not saying it's inappropriate, you are tacitly agreeing that it is appropriate. In the same way that if you're like, there was no classified information, well, then fine, release all the contents of the thread. If it's not classified, if you want to be the most transparent White House in the history of the universe, then release it all, stupid.
Everybody in America,
So clearly,
there's nothing to
Senator,
see here is what your testimony is.
No, I never said
This
that.
is just a normal day at the CIA where we chat about this kind of stuff over Signal. In fact, it's so normal that the last administration left it here for us. That's your testimony today.
That's your testimony.
No, that's
Senator.
not my testimony. That's what you said.
I didn't say any of those things that you just related,
I
Senator.
heard you say.
He literally said that in his opening statement, that Signal was already on his computer when he showed up, and he just, it's like that in the last Boy Scout, where the guy had an affair with Bruce Willis's wife, and he's like, "It just happened, Joe. Oh yeah, you just tripped over the furniture and accidentally stuck your dick in my wife. Ah, sorry, Mrs. H. I guess it's just not my day."
We'll let the American people decide. Let me
I
ask
think
you one final point. I'm out of
Mischaracterized
time.
it. Well, are you going to give me a chance?
Is it
This is the part that I think this is it. This is
appropriate? Did you know that the president's Middle East advisor was in Moscow on this thread while you were, as director of the CIA, participating in this thread? Were you aware of that? Are you aware of that today?
I'm not aware of that today.
it's painful. I'm not aware of that today. Yes, you are, asshole. He just told you. You're absolutely aware of it. You were just told. Tulsi Gabbard's answers are even worse, but I would like to, if I may, fixate on one thing, as I am wont to do. What the fuck is the president's Middle Eastern envoy doing in Moscow? Insofar as I know, Russia is not in the middle of the East by any fucking stretch. Why is this Middle East envoy in Russia at all? I mean, I look, maybe there's a reason. Heck, the leaders of Hamas went to Moscow right after October 7th, within a week, to discuss how to prolong it with Vladimir Putin. Maybe that's why he was there. Maybe he figured out it's not Iran pulling their strings. It's actually Moscow via Iran. And so he went over there, I don't know, whatever, to beg for a reprise. Holy shit.
Sloppiness, this incompetence, this disrespect for our intelligence agencies and the personnel who work for them is entirely unacceptable. It's an embarrassment.
Senator,
you need to do better.
Yeah, but that assumes he can do better, and he's actually a big dum-dum. So I don't know that, in terms of the Trump administration, I think the any request for them to improve their behavior or their skill set, you're well inside the you can't polish a turd territory. So, okay, next up. Wait, all right, let's try this one. Yeah, okay. Let me show you Ossoff, because I got to tell you, Ossoff was one of my favorites. Today. Shit. Ossoff, got to say, like, I haven't seen a ton of his work because a lot of it's been in committee, and I'm not a Georgia citizen, so I don't see any of his, his town halls or campaign stops or whatever he does in the state. I've never just been around for that, but if this, at the very least, we may be seeing a VP Ossoff moment, at the very least, if not the President Ossoff, which, by the way, has way too many options as far as comedic making fun of the name. So it's the president is working as Ossoff, right? Okay, You see what I mean? This, it is, to quote Ferris Bueller, it is so choice.
And thank you all for joining us and for your service. Just to make sure I understand some of the basics here. So Director Radcliffe, you were a member of the Houthi PC small group signal chain, correct?
I was.
Yeah, and so were the Vice President, the Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard, correct?
I believe so.
I believe so. You know so, you dumb motherfucker. You might say you don't know who else was on there and you're not aware that Jeffrey Goldberg was on there or whatever, and that's your cover story. But you talked to everybody else. Of course they were on it. If they weren't on it, they should have been. Except it shouldn't have been a signal group they should have been using. Never mind.
have a list of who was invited to be on.
And so was National.
I don't have a list of who was invited to be on. Who the fuck do you think? Barry Manilow? Yeah. What do you, what was on who's on the invite list? Jesus, do I need to check my goddamn email? How many people are supposed to be on this? You'd think maybe it'd be under 12.
Local reporter Jeffrey Goldberg, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
I love you. Ossoff, I love you, and I want to have your babies. Yes, you do, is his answer. And look at his face. Oh, it's so good. I don't know who was, I don't know if he was on there. Yeah, you do. Of course you do, you dumb motherfucker. Yes, you do. You know, even if you didn't know coming in here, which is dumb, you certainly do now. And if you don't, you're the head of the Central Intelligence Agency. You should be embarrassed to say, I don't know. Okay, time out. Time fucking out. All right, when I was a kid, some people may or may not know this, but in my house, and boy, is this going to explain me to a lot of people. In my house, I was allowed to swear. I was allowed to say, fuck, shit, piss, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. I could swear all I want. The only bad words in my house, according to my dad, were I don't know. I don't know. Especially run together. I don't know. Because it was lazy thinking. This is what kids did when they'd go, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. What'd you find out today? I don't know. That was a bad word in my house. You had several options that weren't I don't know. You could answer the question directly, giving the facts at hand. You could say, I'll find out, in which case you must immediately go and do that thing. Go fucking find out. Don't dangle around going, I'll find out later. Because that's the same as saying, I don't know. Or you could bullshit. You could still just, I think it might be, you're allowed to make educated guesses, okay? You're allowed to do that. That was the thing. But if you said, I don't know, my dad would take his knuckle and hit me on the top of my head. Like that. Just bang. And it would make your fillings drop. It was so hard. And that's how you give birth to a know-it-all, by the way. That's how you grow one in a lab. But I gotta say, it's one thing to say you don't know a piece of information that is out of your reach, where you legitimately go, this is not known, whatever, and not knowable. But if you're the head of the CIA, I feel like there should be a giant knuckle that just comes down and hits you on top of the head if you say, I don't know. Or you just need to be led out of the room in chains.
I don't know Jeffrey Goldberg, and I don't.
You don't have to know him. You're the head of the fucking CIA.
He testified. I don't know whether or how he was added.
Okay, well, he was a member of the signal chain.
Yes, he does, by the way.
And the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
Motherfucker. Well, I don't recall. Welcome to the moron Disney Plus reboot of the Iran-Contra.
Vance, quote, I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the president is aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There was a strong argument for delaying this a month. You don't recall?
As you
You don't recall seeing that?
read that, I don't.
You didn't peruse it before you came into a fucking hearing where you're testifying. And of course you can't. But I guess plausible dumb ass ability.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Director Radcliffe,
Yes. Yes, it did.
surely you prepared for this hearing today. You were part of a group of principals, senior echelons of the U.S. government, in now a widely publicized breach of sensitive information. You don't recall whether the Vice President opined on the wisdom of the strikes? That's your testimony today under oath?
In that setting, I don't recall.
In that setting, in this setting, you dumb motherfucker. And secondly, the setting he just described was, you knew you were going to be asked about this. It's an article that's available to the public. You didn't at least glance at it.
Here's what Secretary Hegseth said, quote, waiting a few weeks or months does not fundamentally change the calculus. Two immediate risks on waiting. One, this leaks and we look indecisive. Two, Israel takes an action first or Gaza ceasefire falls apart and we don't get to start this on our own terms. Your testimony is you don't recall the Secretary of Defense sending that message or reading it?
I recall there being an exchange. I don't recall the specifics as you're reading.
Also, then quit. Fucking quit. Resign immediately. Because as the head of the Central Intelligence Agency, your ability to recall especially dramatic events and the details, that are publicly and privately known about them should be key to the fucking job. My Lord. Can you guys imagine me in that seat? And everybody go, are you aware that it said in this? Yep. You actually misquoted it. It was an and or. He put a little slash in there. Although that was actually a fist emoji meant to be a fist bump, not going up. I just want to clarify in case we had different ideas of what fisting is for the record.
Well, let's put it this way, Director Radcliffe, a discussion by senior U.S. officials on the timing and risks of a proposed military campaign and disagreements between the president and the vice president about U.S. plans and intentions would be of obvious interest to foreign intelligence services, would it not?
Yes.
That was easy.
And they were discussing the timing of sending U.S. air crews into enemy airspace where they faced an air defense threat, correct?
I'm going to, Senator, defer to the other principles that you're referring
Director
to
Radcliffe.
about what the meaning and the context of
They're
what
talking
they were
about the
auditing.
timing of U.S. airstrikes, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and therefore the timing of sending U.S. air crews into hostile airspace, correct?
Yes.
And therefore the time period during which enemy air defenses could target U.S. air crews flying in enemy airspace, correct?
I don't know that.
You do know.
Jesus, you do know that. And I love Ossoff's answer to this. Whenever he says, I don't know that, he goes, you do know that. It's because I got to say, yes, they're under oath. This is fucking embarrassing. Like, this is cringy as shit. Like, even if it wasn't like, our side clearly in the right, their side clearly in the wrong, which is this is a very stark showing of priorities and fuckity amongst the Republican side. Even without that, like, just watching anybody testify like this would be like, get the fuck out of here, right? You just be like, this is so dumb.
Could target U.S. air crews flying in enemy airspace, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
Know that.
Oh, fuck.
U.S. air crews
Stepped on it
flying
again.
in enemy airspace, correct?
I don't know that.
You do know that. Let me ask this question.
I love that. That's so good. That's the Ossoff now. That's got to be the Ossoff. The answer, give him the Ossoff. It's like a kiss off, but it's the Ossoff. The Ossoff is, ask them a question, they say they don't know, they go, you do know. And just move the fuck on. Don't argue that they know. State it and move on. Mic drop upon mic drop. The Ossoff is, I don't know, you do know. You should be embarrassed to pretend you don't. Shit.
General Hawk, you lead America's signals intelligence collection. Would the private deliberation of foreign senior officials about the wisdom and timing of potential military action be a collection priority for you and the U.S. intelligence community?
Senator, it's our job to do indications and warning for both the plans and intentions of adversary leaders and for military commanders.
The answer is yes, and he tried to soften it, just for the record.
And would not information about the timing of airstrikes allow a military to pre-position or cue air defense systems to shoot down enemy aircraft?
I think, Senator, from our perspective.
Yes. Yes. If the enemy knew we were coming, when we were coming, what we were using, and they had air defenses to deal with them, and they knew about it ahead of time, they could move their shit out of the way, and they could move their like defensive and offensive measures that they would attack those incoming planes with to a position that would give them a better striking point. Yes. Fucking yes. Of course, yes. Stop it. Just say yes and take the L. Fuck you. This is, yes, Ossoff is excellent at this. This guy is actually better at obfuscating than Radcliffe is, but he still is.
Any advance warning is something that we certainly are trying to protect.
Yeah. Director Radcliffe, this was a...
Any advance warning is, of course, something we're trying to protect. Apparently not, because you're part of Signal's intelligence. They were using Signal, the app, to talk about this shit, and you were either on the group and unaware or not on the group and unaware. Either way, you were useless in this process, and you're basically there for other people, I guess, to use a finger wag as a finger wag at the people who were on the group.
Huge mistake, correct?
No.
He said, listen, this was a huge mistake. No.
No.
A national political...
Hold on.
No, you
Let me
hold
answer.
on. No,
The
Director
answer- the
Radcliffe,
reason
I
I
asked
say
you a yes
no-
or no question, and now you hold on.
Damn. By the way, that's all you need, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this is the exchange. I can't believe he left that much fucking dead air
No.
on that no. Let's look at that question and answer again. Welcome to the nightly news clip of the fucking week.
Protect.
Director Radcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
Jesus Christ. Congratulations, John Radcliffe. This is your legacy. Hey, that's right, everybody. This is welcome back to Your Legacy. That's right, the game show where we explain to everyone what they're going to be remembered for and the biggest fuck up of their life. That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, John Radcliffe. Says wants you to remember that this is how he ran the CIA. Take it away, Johnny.
Trying to protect.
Director Radcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
A national...
That's right. No. Sorry, John. The answer, sorry, Mr. Radcliffe. The answer was actually yes. The answer was yes. It was so you missed double jeopardy, and I'm sorry you've lost the game. It's over for you. Enjoy your rice-a-roni and the other San Francisco treat, which is the one you fear the most, of course, which is you have to participate in a drag show in Haight-Ashbury.
No, you
Let me
hold
answer.
on. No,
The
Director
answer- the
Radcliffe.
reason
I
I
asked
say
you.
that-
I love how he's like, let me answer. Wait, but let me answer. Like, motherfucker, you said no and just, I don't know, waited for no. No, I was fucking with you. Yeah, it was. That was a huge mistake. I would just like to say for the record.
A question, and now you'll hold on. A national political reporter.
You can
was made
characterize it how
privy-
you want.
Oh, yes. You can use all the reality bullshit you want to throw. Yes, on Earth, in our atmosphere, when involved in, I don't know, biological living as a humanoid, maybe this happened, but
made privy
The White
to
House has
sensitive
made
information
clear
about
that there
imminent
was an
military
inadvertent
operations against a
mistake.
foreign.
there was an inadvertent mistake. As opposed to all those intentional mistakes we all make all the time. Oops. Sorry about that. Whammy.
Inadvertent
organization.
mistake of adding a reporter.
And that wasn't a huge
to a
mistake.
seal.
That wasn't a huge mistake.
Well, I think they characterized
This is
it
an
as a
embarrassment.
mistake.
This is
They characterized it as a mistake. Who? They? You mean the reporter who left the chat because he knew it was a bad idea to have a civvy in there?
utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology. There has been no recognition of the gravity of this error. And by the
way, Hegseth is in fucking Hawaii right now while these assholes are taking his shots. I guarantee you that Radcliffe and Gabbard and even Patel are like, fucking Hegseth, man. And Waltz isn't on the panel either. Both of the guys most responsible for the fuck up here, which was the guy that invited the reporter in and the member of the chat who put classified shit into it when it was supposed to be just a yapping group. Those two guys aren't on the panel. They're not getting questioned. And I guarantee everybody else on that fucking panel is really fucking tired after today of taking heat for those two dickheads.
we will get the full transcript of this chain, and your testimony
Oh, yes, they will.
will be measured carefully against its content. Thank you.
Yes, that's Ossoff saying he knows they lied under oath. Even with their, I don't recall. Yeah, you fucking do. Yeah, you do. And I would like to say for the record, as I don't want to be a stickler, but I want whoever's running the CIA to have amazing recall. They should, the memory and the ability to, without any cueing whatsoever, to call up details about all sorts of things should be integral to the job. It should be essential. Bitch, by the way, John Ossoff, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, killing it today. Just bitching. So good. And I got to say, steely-eyed.
Mr. Chairman.
And he's not fucking around, by the way. Ossoff was like, it wasn't just performance. He was fucking pissed. Now, Radcliffe caught most of the shit, obviously. He and Tulsi got the most questions. Patel was almost there as a third wheel. He had a couple of answers, but it was mainly just to put him on the spot, right? This is Mark Kelly, who also does a fucking masterful job at handling this.
Senator Kelly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to come back to the topic of the day here, the signal chain as reported by The Atlantic. Ms. Gabbard and Mr. Radcliffe, you each testified that there was no information operational in nature, no classified information. So I want to ask.
Also, that's a lie. There was operational information. Goldberg has that detail. He blurted out. Secondarily, no classified. There is doing a lot of heavy lifting. They use this a lot. Tulsi and Gabbard and Rat's ass both of them use this like it's not classified because it had yet to be classified. But the understanding would be that this entire conversation would, of course, qualify as fucking classified. They're not going to have it on a lawn. They view their fucking phones as mini skiffs because they're assholes.
Each of you just a series of, just respond yes or no. I'll start with Ms. Gabbard. In the signal chain that we have been talking about, was there any mention of a target in Yemen?
I don't remember mention.
Yes, there was. Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert. Yeah, there fucking well was. I don't remember sorry, and Biden was old and forgetful, and that's why he couldn't be brought before a trial. That's why that was his get out of jail free card, was that he would sit down and people would just believe that he was a forgetful old man and be forgiving about him. And these assholes who just showed up, young, new people, fresh in the job, a whole new breed of adults coming in, another generation that are coming in here, and they're like, I don't know, there's a lot going on.
Specific targets.
Any generic target?
I believe there was discussion around
the idea that children are our future. I believe someone said, treat them well and let them lead the way. I believe in a thing called love. I believe.
Targets in general.
Mr. Radcliffe.
I think that's consistent with my recollection. Again, I don't have access to that.
Was there?
Yeah, oh my fucking God. Wait. Your phone's on the desk, you dumb motherfucker. It's right there. Also, the idea that these assholes showed up for this hearing and don't have the article in their printed materials right in front of them, with the part highlighted that says, hey, the copy of the shit that he has says this. Right? This I don't recall shit is not going to cut it. Never mind the fact that, again, these fuckers are not Reagan in 1988.
Was there any mention, Ms. Gabbard, of a weapon or weapons system?
I don't recall specific weapons systems being named.
I'm not talking about specific, any weapon or weapons system.
I don't recall specific names.
The answer is yes. And again, spoiler alert. And they are going to get a copy of this. So you're going to see, that's why they're saying the I believe and I don't recall so much, because they can't answer the question without catching shit. And this is them basically doing everything they can to protect Trump.
Of systems or weapons being used or named within the
Well, I'm
chat.
not asking whether, I don't want you to tell me what the specific weapon was, but any weapon at all. Mr. Radcliffe, same question.
I don't recall.
How about anything about timing?
By the way, this was like a fucking week and a half ago. This is not, I mean, when we're talking about like Iran-Contra and shit like that, months, in many cases, years had passed before this shit came up in committee. And unless you went back and reread it, even if you reread it after a couple of years, you'd be like, oh, that's what happened? I don't remember that happening. You could legally, even though you had already reread your own notes or contemporaneous record of what had actually happened, you could still say under oath, I don't recall because I read that and I don't remember that happening. I read it, but that doesn't mean I remember. So I don't have to leave the I read it, but I don't remember it as it was written to I don't recall. You can legally get away with that. This was fucking a week ago Saturday.
Ms. Gabbard.
I don't recall specific timing.
Was there any
I
mention?
won't get into the detail of the conversation, but obviously there was a significant amount of planning and internal discussions that had occurred prior to and outside of this signal chat.
So I don't remember what was in the Signal chat because we were talking about this on our Facebook chat group as well, and we were passing notes in class.
Mr. Radcliffe, you're nodding your head. Any mention of any military unit whatsoever? Mr. Radcliffe?
Not that
I got to say, Mark Kelly has that look on his face like, I've seen it. I went to the skiff this morning.
recall.
Ms. Gabbard?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
I don't recall.
So I understand that DoD policy prohibits discussion of even what is called controlled unclassified information, or CUI.
Right. That's the stuff that should be classified, but it's not to the point where it's going to be disseminated. You're still in, you're either creating the information, you're finding the information out live or whatever, and eventually that will get out. And that's why you have these kind of conversations in areas and in spaces where people can't hear it while it goes on, because you know full well you will be discussing things that are classified. Somebody in there, Hegseth in this case, knows something. He's passing a detail along, classified information that is classified. It is only for the people in this specific working group that he believes or thought was only made up of people that had access or were available to, were legally allowed to read classified stuff. And you will hear that there's a little bit of layoff of blame where they say Hegseth has the right to declassify stuff or state the level of classification. So by him blathering it in this chat group, that magically declassifies it because it's a web app and anybody could be on it. But we're not going to release it because it's classified.
On unsecured devices, are both of you aware of that DoD policy?
I haven't read that policy.
That's not what he asked you. I mean, nice try, though. I don't care how you heard it. I haven't read that policy means somebody told it to you. Somebody mentioned it to you. And by the way, if you're DNI, how the fuck do you not know that you shouldn't be using unsecure devices and apps off the fucking Apple Store to discuss battle plans?
Familiar with the DoD policy, but I would say that the Secretary of Defense is the original classification authority for DoD and deciding.
That's okay. So that's them passing it off that Hegseth put this in there. So by putting it in a Signal chat, he's kind of declassifying it, kind of like he obviously thought it could be passed around to reporters, because anybody could be in this fucking thing, as you've seen.
What would be classified information?
Ms. Gabbard, does the intelligence community have a policy that prohibits discussion of controlled unclassified information?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Controlled unclassified information, according to DoD, includes information that is information that has not been approved for public release. Would you, of what's been disclosed publicly of the Signal chain, would either of you feel
Oops.
that
Did that freeze or something? Did the image freeze? Sorry about that. Hold on one second. I don't know why this would be. It looks like it's freezing on my end. Maybe it isn't on yours. Reload the page, see if it does it. Nope. I'm going to go back to here. Maybe it'll pop back in. We'll see. I don't know why the audio was good, but it seemed to freeze, right? Yeah, there we go. Now it's back. Sorry. Whoops.
nature, no classified information? So I want to ask each of you just a series of, just respond yes or no. I'll start with Ms. Gabbard. In the Signal chain that we have been talking about, was there any mention of a target?
Sorry, let me go back to here.
Recall specific names of systems or weapons.
Go back to here.
Ms. Gabbard.
I don't recall specific timing.
Was there any
I
mention?
won't get into the detail of the conversation, but
We were already
You're nodding your head. Are you aware of that DoD policy?
Okay, there's
The Secretary of Defense is the original
Unclassified.
Yeah, okay.
what would be classified information.
Yeah, so that's where they try to pass it off to Hegseth. They blame him because he automatically declassified it. That's where they're going to go later.
Gabbard, does the intelligence community have a policy that prohibits discussion of control?
Somebody was asking, were they trying to classify this as a, did they try to set Jeffrey Goldberg up and claim he's a threat? No. I got to say, a lot of this has to do with his own. Let's see if I can get this to see where you can see this bit a little bit better. There we go. This was not an active anything. This was just a fuck up. I mean, it'd be great if it was somehow conspiratorial and really impressive in that way, but I got to tell you, it's really just them screwing up. It was just that stupid. Like they had just the wrong fucking name, and they didn't check, and it was just lazy, weak, and stupid. Now, one of the reasons Jeffrey Goldberg got out of the chat was because he had obviously talked to one of the lawyers at the Atlantic, probably when he saw this, and said, "Hey, what's our legal hang if I stay in this chat room now that I realize after that attack that it is real?" And they went, "Well, yeah, you're probably, if now that you know you're not supposed to be in there, it could be a problem for you. So you should probably leave. That said, when you leave, everything that you have seen up till that point is fair game." So that's more than likely how this played out.
Unclassified information.
Yes.
It does. Okay. Controlled unclassified information, according to DOD, includes information that has not been approved for public release. Would you, of what's been disclosed publicly of the signal chain, would either of you feel that would be approved for public release? Ms. Gabbard.
The discussion that took place in that Signal chat group was a conversation reflecting national security leaders and the vice president around.
Yeah, we know what it was. Is it appropriate for the conversation that happened there to be public? Or to even be shared with a journalist by accident, friend or foe? The answer is no, dum-dum.
The president's objectives.
So yes or no, would you approve that for public release?
I don't feel I can answer that question here.
Oh, shit. I don't feel like you can answer that question at all, asshole. No shit. But let me tell you something. You're under oath. And by the way, that's why. Can I just say that's why she feels like she cannot answer this in this venue, wherever. That's why. You want to know why she feels like she can't? And what was her exact wording? Son of a bitch. What was her exact wording?
Public release?
I don't feel I can answer that question here.
I don't feel like I can answer this question here. Why would that be? Why? What would be the reasoning behind it? What would be the reason behind that? I'll tell you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's because she's under oath. That's it. Not, I'll embarrass the president. Not, Pete Hegseth is a friend of mine, and I feel everybody should get a mulligan where they could have gotten some soldiers killed. Who in their life hasn't? She can't answer it here because she's under oath. And the truth would get everybody on that panel in deep shit and would get Hegseth fired or put in jail. Because there are probably other signal groups where they are doing the same thing about a myriad of stuff. If they have one working group on a particular strike on the Houthis, you don't think they have a Hezbollah one? You don't think they have an Iran working group? You don't think they have a Israel-Gaza working group or a fucking Russia-Ukraine for that fucking matter? The next question is, are you a part of any other signal groups like this where details similar to this are being talked about? That's why she can't answer it. Democrats on the panels, please ask them, and there will be more rounds of this. How many signal groups are you a part of where you discuss materials similar to or of the same, level of intel and discussion? Is every working group in this White House on fucking Signal? If hackers know that one is, they know that to check for other ones. Under oath, are you a part of other signal groups discussing similar elements of like theater war on terror, the cartels, anything?
Because of the nature of this hearing?
Because of the nature of a private discussion that took.
Fuck you. Yeah, it was. Why is it private? So it's just private because it's personal. It's like discuss. It's like this. This isn't. She's not worried about the fact that they're leaking national security and defense secrets. It's just sort of like a violation of their HIPAA rights. They talked about what flavor of baby aspirin they prefer.
Place between individual leaders in our government.
It would make sense that you would not approve it for public release, wouldn't it?
There are other factors that would go into that consideration.
Mr. Radcliffe.
Yeah, but there are other factors that would go into your thinking because he asked you if you would do it.
Yes or no?
I wouldn't approve the release of classified information. Again, as I've said, my
I'm not talking about
understanding is
classified information, Mr. Radcliffe. I'm talking about information that has not been approved for public release. That is information that is considered controlled.
By the way, this is Trump's fallback as well, that there was no classified stuff on it. Not stuff that wouldn't have been classified had they known they were talking about it. And Hegseth said classified level stuff that should have made the entire conversation buttoned down. There are times, by the way, when the government and the intelligence services will be talking about stuff in the abstract, and somebody will say, "Oh, P.S., this just happened," and the whole place locks down because those details don't need to be discussed, in the open.
Unclassified information.
The principles that would have been on that would have been individuals capable of approving that for public release.
Do you?
You mean like the vice president? So let me get this straight. The vice president can declassify things. I know Obama gave Biden that right. And Biden certainly had it as president. So all the times when Trump was saying, I had the right to do that under the Presidential Records Act, but Biden didn't because he was the vice president, they're saying that everybody in their particular area, their category, has the right and ability to declassify things for public consumption if they so choose. And by dumping it into a signal thread, automatically that declassifies it because the quality of the security of signal is such shit that you wouldn't say anything in there that you wouldn't want available for public consumption. That's his fucking fallback. Good Lord. What an asshole.
I got 20 seconds. The deliberation as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country, would you consider that classified information, Ms. Gabbard?
Well, the information was not classified.
Fuck you, lady. God, just look at the weaselly look on her face, too. Yeah, I agree, Denise. Why not just say you fucked up? I agree. I would say, why not just say Pete fucked up and let Pete, Mr. Macho Warfighter with his fucking Crusader tattoos, take his fucking lumps like everybody else. As a matter of fact, the idea that Pete Hegseth isn't taking responsibility for this, or Waltz himself isn't going, this isn't Tulsi Gabbard's problem. I'm the one who accidentally brought them in. And Hegseth going, I'm the one who actually said stuff in the chat that doesn't belong there. It won't happen again. Trump would let him fucking slide. He would. But this is all, I mean, we hear all the time that the cover-up is worse than the crime. No, it's not. The crime is always worse than the cover-up unless you murder somebody to hide the information. But the cover-up is a lot more embarrassing than the crime. It requires more people debasing themselves in an attempt to, to at the very least obfuscate what actually happened.
This is not, I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about deliberation.
Going forward, are you going to be this fucking stupid, lady? That's what he means.
As from principles as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country. Would you consider that classified information? I'm not talking about what happened this week.
There are other factors that would go into determining that classification.
Mr. Radcliffe, the deliberation between
what she said.
Principles in our national security apparatus about whether or not to strike another country, would you consider that to be classified information?
Pre-decisional strike deliberation should be conducted through classified channels.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Right. So Hegseth fucked up. There you go. One actual answer from Radcliffe at the tail end of this. Dunking on Tulsi Gabbard, I guess. And again, Radcliffe doesn't get any fucking points for that, by the way, because he doesn't set policy. He lives by policy. He's the head of the fucking CIA. And the fact that he didn't act that way when this shit was going down and now says that's absolutely how things should be done is just a way of, it's just a salvage attempt. Yikes. You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. Now, before I move on, I want to show you how some of the right wing are responding to this. Because, man, they're trying hard. They are, nobody lately has been a better turd polisher than Peanut Butter Dickhead. And you'll see, look, well, first of all, let's look at the title. Controlling the Narrative. The Atlantic's signal chat, just that alone. The Atlantic's signal chat exposes, in all caps, Trump's war strategy against the Houthis. So the premise here would be that the Atlantic set up this signal chat to give away secret information on Trump's war strategy against the Houthis, which, by the way, war strategy means these were war plans. At least we agree on that, you fuckhead. War strategy, there it is. Controlling the narrative, in quotes. And again, who is? Well, check this out.
Of dollars.
By the way, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, share the show, etc., etc. Hi, maggots. Having a good day?
To different folks, okay? Different donations. But watch this one here. The Atlantic. Here's a story to the right. This is an article called The Great Fake Child Sex Trafficking Epidemic.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's the beginning.
This is the...
That's later in it. He gets to this later. That was we'll start at the beginning.
Officials text war plans to a group chat on a secure app that includes a journalist, which is kind of weird, right? This is
yeah, it's kind of weird. It's weird. Sorry, and how did he say it?
This is the Trump officials text war plans to a group chat on a secure app that includes a journalist, which is kind of...
A secure app. Is it, though? That includes a journalist. They just included it. It when you download the app, it has a journalist already on it.
Right? This is a story that comes out yesterday. And they were all over the place talking about this. I'll read this to you, and Rob, let's play a couple clips. Top Trump officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz texted warp.
Dude's foot is jumping under the desk. Do you notice that? Like he's doing that highly caffeinated bounce. This is not a story they want to cover.
Plans for Yemen strikes to a signal group that accidentally included Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. Goldberg reported,
yeah, they slipped and fell, and like they bumped phones, and it was like a chocolate and peanut butter kind of a mix. And all of a sudden, you know, two great tastes taste great together.
contained operational details of forthcoming strikes on Iran-backed Houthis rebel in Yemen, including information about targets, weapons the U.S. would be deploying. The attack sequencing the National Security Council confirmed appears to be authentic, and Trump initially said, I don't know anything about it. You're
because that's leadership.
Telling me about it for the first time before joking via Elon Musk post 4D chess genius Trump leaks war plans to the Atlantic where no one will ever see them.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Everyone has seen them. And as a matter of fact, if you were trying to make the Atlantic less important, the idea that you would leak them to the Atlantic and not give them a boost is fucking weird. Like it's I guess that would be the 3D chess.
Revealed by The Atlantic on Monday sparked outrage. The Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer calling it one of the most stunning breaches of military intelligence I've ever read about in a very long time. Okay, Rob, let's go through a couple of these clips. So here's the president in the Roosevelt Room. Go for it, Rob.
Yeah, show us this. This is the part where he's like a true leader confronted by a real crisis, and this is like a master class in how you handle it.
The story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know
it sure is fucking now. I'm glad I have a subscription.
Nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Right. Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time. Anybody else?
Just blows it off.
What else you got? You got one response from Hegseth as well?
I do. This is Pete Hegseth getting off a plane where he...
Yeah, he attacks the messenger because that's what strength is all about.
Asked about the Signal leak.
Go for it.
Exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Right, thank you.
Yeah, you were. And by the way, if you want to say, because we're not technically at war with Yemen or with the Houthis, so they were just battle plans, like you fucking weasel, that's not how you dance around that shit. If any Democrat talked about something like this that way, these assholes would be jumping through their shirt collars.
That's it. Tom, thoughts?
Tom, thoughts? Who's this? Is this the guy who's going to defend it?
I think, number one...
Yeah, okay. So this guy has got the administration's back. I need you to know this. He's the guy who will intentionally either play dumb patriot, or he's not playing dumb, but he is playing patriot. You'll see.
That everybody's pointing to Mike Waltz.
Because Mike Waltz invited Jeff Goldblum into it. I don't think it should be. I'm in the chat. No, I don't want to be in the chat.
And that Mike Waltz.
It's not good to be in the chat.
Apparently sent a text out, and it included a journalist.
He did not send a text out, and it did not include a journalist because he texted some people. He sent an invite to a private Signal group, and Jeffrey Goldberg was allowed in it the whole time, and he exited himself when he realized it was real.
And the journalists are doing what they're doing. They don't go through...
In doing what they're doing,
back channels to say, hey, is this secret? Should we protect the United States? Should we protect what's going on? That's not what the journalist does. The journalist does.
No, journalists don't do that. They go, oh, my dear God, of course I've been added to a fucking private signal group by Mike Waltz. That happens all the time. You did it again, Mikey.
Hey, let's attack the administration. And they're...
Yeah, that's not what he did at all. Also, why would he, what's worth attacking the administration about this? You end up in a fucking, you get a text, what's the big deal?
It's a newsworthy item if somebody kind of blew it and included a journalist on here.
Kind of blew it?
That's not good. But let's face it, it was a signal communication. It wasn't like 22 megabytes of, documents. And you don't know that. You don't. He might have posted files in that signal group for people to read. You don't know yet. Most of the stuff he just seemed to have cut and paste text from other shit into there about the war plans and what they were actually going to do. How much signal, by the way, how many megabytes would the redcoats are coming would have taken up? How much would that have taken up? How many megabytes of information would the Japanese are going to attack Pearl Harbor tomorrow morning? How much would that have taken up, that message? How much information, and what would knowing that piece of information have done? Would you need 24 megabytes? Would you need a schematic about it actually happening? Yes. The Houthis didn't get it in time to duck. So because the attack happened and by...
Yeah, he didn't. That's because he didn't give it to them. He didn't pass it on. He chose not to. He chose to have more discretion in disseminating that information than Pete Hegseth did in the signal group. Dum-dum.
Most accounts that we're hearing, it was fairly effective on its targets. But it is,
Fairly?
It's a careless thing. And I don't think there's a person out there that's not sent a business email where you go to type a name in Outlook and it finishes the name for you. And
no one's ever done that here.
No, never.
Yeah, it happens all the time, especially where our soldiers could get shot out of the fucking sky. How about this? How about, whoops, whoa, look at this. What's happening? Silver alert activated by the California Highway Patrol. It's an old guy last seen in Sherman Oaks. All right, I'll keep an eye out for Jose. But poor guy. I think we've got a wandering old person.
And it's like the wrong mic.
and by the way, I love that they're joking about this shit. Like it's just fucking nothing. And we don't even do this about the Hillary email shit. We directly address what was actually in those fucking things and how it's actually, none of it was classified. None of it actually was, it was like her schedule when she was flying in and out of someplace, but none of it involved fucking battle plans. Stuff that was shared out, quite frankly, with the White House pool of reporters so they'd know where to meet her. That was the level of it. But we didn't even joke about it in those regards. The hashtag butter emails was a call to arms and a calling of these assholes out. But but Hegseth signals.
Mike Jones, Mike Jeffries instead of Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Mike Jones with the Porsche, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the Mike Jones?
No, you know what I mean. You
Mike Lowry. I'm sorry.
Mike Lowry.
Exactly.
A lot of pop culture reference.
I think
Mike Jones. I want to know you can't clone.
That's kind of careless, but
kinda.
Mike Waltz is a good man. He's a strong guy. He's a right guy.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't. No, he's not.
Can I read you something that may upset you a little bit? Because this story, Daily Mail, says National Security Advisor Mike Waltz firing after inviting the Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeffrey Goldberg to a signal chat. Okay, Houthis, PC, small group. Discussing Yemen strikes with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and J.D. Vance, a White House insider told Politico, Everyone in the White House can agree on one thing. Mike Waltz is an effing idiot. Okay, this is what Politico, this is the story.
Well, this is also Daily Mail, and there's no name on that.
I totally get it. So I'm just reading this.
Yeah, so it definitely didn't happen because it's not like Mike Waltz has done anything really fucked up in the last 48 hours. Like invite a reporter from The Atlantic to join a private signal group where they discuss battle plans.
You on what's being said.
Like, what are the qualifications for being a fucking idiot in the White House if that ain't it?
While a senior official said half of them saying he's never going to survive or shouldn't, noting it was reckless not to check who was on the threat, it was reckless to having a conversation on Signal, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the same time, there's another one from Daily Mail that comes out saying J.D. Vance says, team, I'm out of the day doing economic events in Michigan, but I think we are making a terrible mistake. We're making a mistake to a Trump team, including National Security Mike Waltz. And then it continues, he warned, there's real risk that the public doesn't understand this or why it is necessary. I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with the message on Europe right now, et cetera, et cetera. And Vance expressed his reluctance but compliance, saying, I'm willing to support the consensus.
Like, again, I don't know if this is the first time these assholes are seeing it or they're pretending that this is the first time that they've seen this stuff because it might have come in while they were doing the show. Because, I covered part of it yesterday as it started to break. There's still no excuse in this. And one of the things that you see, like one of the defenses you see from a lot of these folks right now on the right is, I'm glad that look how much deliberation, right? Look how much they're thinking about this and working on things. And I'm so happy there are these thoughtful conversations happening amongst this crowd, right? That, the vice president and others
of the team, and keep these concerns to myself, but there's strong argument for delaying this for a month, doing this messaging, work on why this matters, seeing where the economy is, et cetera, et cetera. And then Hexen urged action, replying, we are prepared to execute, and if I have a final go or no vote, I believe we should. Mike Waltz noted, per the president's request, we are working with DOD and state of to determine how to compile the costs associated and levy them on Europeans. All right, so that's what Daily Mail is saying, what happened here.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So if somebody on your staff was to say, hey...
Somebody on your staff endangered the lives of other members of your staff and could have gotten them killed by, like they're driving across town late night and you knew that there was a criminal gang in this one particular area, and if they knew your car was coming, they could do a bump and grab or shoot at you and stuff, and you just included somebody, the local town gossip in on your private conversation that might lead to that happening. How would you just let it slide? The answer is yes. This is bullshit. These analogies are so fucking lame.
I'm not sure about this. I've got a little bit different point of view here, but whatever you decide, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Do you want that or do you want silence?
No,
hold on. That's not the option. The option isn't like we can either talk on Signal or not at all. Is not a fucking thing. Fuck you, dude. This is so weak. It's so lame. Good Lord. How are you not fucking... I mean, again, maybe this dude agreed of the group that he would be the one to throw himself on the fucking grenade in this situation by saying the absolute dumbest shit on the panel so they can look like they're balanced and everybody's pushing back on it. But we shall see.
That was a point. It's so funny you were saying this. You see, a businessman would think that way. I love that. I actually love the fact that there's an exchange. I love the fact...
Why the fuck is it happening on Signal, dumb fuck? That's like saying, I think a great that a boardroom can, like if a board in your your company's worried about a brand new product. You got a brand new product launch. Here you go, peanut butter dickhead. Figure this out. You got a brand new product your company's coming out with and you're very excited about it. It's the new Coke and you've got a whole new recipe and all this kind of stuff and you're discussing, and some people are saying, discussing when it should be done, if it should be done at all. And there's this whole back and forth, and the minutes of that, you just throw them out the fucking window after the end of the meeting so that your competitor whose office is right across the street can look at them if they stumble across them. Are you out of your fucking mind? You think this has to do with whether or not you have a discussion at all? It's about the public disclosure and the fucking lazy, weak, excuse-ridden, pathetic attempt to cover for the fact that they fucked up. Hegseth is a fuck-up. Waltz is a fuck-up. They both fucked up. And it would be one thing if they weren't both of them, and Peanut Butter Dickhead and his crew are the same way about this, if they weren't such, like, you know, macho alpha men bullshitters. I mean,
there's like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? It's very normal for us.
yeah, it's normal to have a conversation. So why shouldn't we just, how about this? Why do you even have a situation room? Why don't they just do it on the lawn? Good Lord. What the fuck are you talking about? Why do we even have skiffs? Wouldn't you feel much better if you knew the conversations? You know, if you're dealing with how to stop the next 9/11, we should have a big fucking. Why don't they just take it on the road and do a town hall tour and explain our battle plans? And you know, I think a lot of people are very confused about how you stop a cyber attack on our infrastructure. Maybe they should just go around to the worst parts of the country that have the most, you know, the weakened infrastructure points that could be attacked the most. Power grids, nuclear power plants, fucking NORAD's base, and all these kinds of, and just stand outside and going, this place's security is ass. We should start working on that tomorrow. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fuck.
Nothing about the threat I'm reading says to me that this shows to me that they're willing to have discourse, debate, exchange.
Yeah, do you see the part where... Oh, hold on. Son of a bitch. This is going to be so aggravating. Let's see. Berg, text, signal. Yeah. One moment, please. Here you go. All right, let's scroll down. See if I can show you the... Yeah, there we go. There's the question. This would be the... Here's the part... Where is it? Find the part where it's... It's the Atlantic article. Marco Rubio wrote, Mike Needham for state apparently designing designating the current counsel of the State Department as his representative in the chat. Signal user identified as J.D. Vance wrote, Andy Baker for VP. 1 minute after TG, presumably Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, somebody masquerading as her, wrote Joe Kent for DNI. 9 minutes later, Scott B., apparently Treasury Secretary. That's why he thought this was bullshit. Stayed on it for a couple days. Then it turned out to be real. If you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again. Let's make sure our messaging is tight here. And if there's things we can do up front to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. I love the fact that J.D. Vance is so concerned about Saudi oil facilities. His biggest thing is spiking the cost of gas. This is the green light when it's going to happen. There's the after it happened. This is how he knew. See, I want to show you the one where it was. Let's see if I can do. Whoops, images. I want to see. Let's see there. Scott here. Trump administration's signal blunder. Jeff Goldberg. Okay, this is just the part that they showed. They have another piece that shows the parts that he gelled out so you couldn't read it. I'm trying to find those for you. 1 second. Go back. Fucking Instagram, you crazy shit. Maybe it'd be redacted. Yeah, I don't see it right here. Okay, this might be the Axios one. Yeah. White House. This is fun too. White House defiant after messaging fiasco with the Atlantic. There you go. This is the thing. Principals Committee, Goldman, these are the Trump officials. These are who were on that they knew of. And then there were other people. Reality check that Trump instinctively resists giving adversaries a win behind the scenes. Goldberg said he had very strong doubts it was real. Hegseth bashed Goldberg, which is what weak people do. They scheduled to testify. We saw that. Both then face questions at House Intel tomorrow, so we'll get to see that. Whee! That'll be fun. Excerpts from the chat. Let's see. 4 takeaways from the guy. White House confirms 4 takeaways. 1, mind-boggling security breach. I agree. Vance as the voice of dissent, mainly about money. They can't stand the Europeans, which is true. They call it pathetic. What to watch. Congress erupted at the news of the leak. Anyways, so this is. I'll find one of those. I'll find them for tomorrow because I know they exist out there. If anybody, I don't have the Discord on this computer. Just so you know. Let's see. Discord. Let me see. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So go away. Thank you. Oh, kitties. That's what's happening. Staff chat. Yeah, I'll find it for tomorrow. But there's already a section that Goldberg has released since that has redacted pieces that of stuff that he knows is not for public consumption.
So maybe it was on. So because think about it, devil's advocate. Maybe it was on purpose. It doesn't make.
Yeah, it's 5D chess. It doesn't make sense. These people couldn't be idiots.
Why is Mike Walls?
Doesn't sound like they work for a dictator.
Weird. And that's what me and Jake were talking about. Maybe that was the whole ploy, is to have something like this leak. By the way, why is Mike Walls messaging anybody from the Atlantic? Why is he even
right?
The Goldberg guy. Why is he even in your chat? And why would you?
Yeah, it's a great question for Mike Walls, who did not show up for the hearing.
Add him in there. There's no other Goldberg whatever that's in the White House that would be involved in this situation anyway. So maybe it was a way to show, like, hey, listen, look what we're doing behind closed doors. Yeah, we messed up, and it could be maybe they want to get rid. What's it?
Yeah, they did it on purpose. That's why they did it through him and not Maggie fucking Haberman. Or somebody who's like always giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Guy's name, Tom? The Mike Walls?
Yeah.
It looks to me like if you wanted to fire somebody, guess what's a good way to get his ass fired? Have something like this happen and then leak it.
It was the wrong guy to be aiming at, I think.
Have something. So, sorry. Hegseth wants to get Waltz fired. That's why he dropped classified documents or classified intel before a military strike that involves our soldiers over enemy positions where they could have been shot out of the fucking sky. He did that so he could get Mike Waltz fired because he's playing 5D chess. God damn, these guys are stupid. But this is, by the way, this level of copium is fucking everywhere. We normally check in on Glenn Beck, and I have no doubt he'll have, I don't know, maybe he's on vacation on purpose. Like he checked out as soon as this shit happened.
Guy's really capable. He was an early, confirmation, and he's
Very
really
quick.
strong in position. Gorka's on his team. So, yeah.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, this makes sense. Now I know why he's, how he fucked up this bad. This makes total sense now.
So I think there.
Gorka!
The other thing is, it's not unusual. How many media people do you have your
to be loved by anyone
phone? I am on my phone.
Yeah, true. But I mean, in a
by the way-
signal like this, though, this is serious.
That's bad. Well, but there's also another angle to it. If I'm
Yeah, here's the angle. You shouldn't be using your private phone to discuss war plans anyways. And so the fact that it autofills from your fucking regular phone to people that aren't in the military or aren't in there, and you're not using a specific device now that you're in the goddamn White House, that would be the other thing. That would be, how about why the fuck are your contacts bumped over from that and include reporters from all over the fucking place?
if I'm a cabinet member, I only want to communicate with the media on a secure channel. I don't want to risk that it gets sniffed on a Gmail or anything like that.
Let's see what.
What? No. If you're talking to other people in the White House, that would be true. If you're talking to the media, just talk to the fucking media. They're going to print it, right? What do you mean? If you're an anonymous source, you don't want to be found out? So basically, you're saying Mike Waltz is an anonymous source. Fuck, man. The cleanup on aisle 666 over here. Jesus. Sorry. It popped out in a way.
Foreign affairs expert has to say. Adam, your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, I was actually also on that text chat, and I saw.
Okay, by the way, this is their attempt to joke it away. It's just nothing. It's so nothing. We're just joking about it. It's just fucking hilarious. Y'all are fucking hilarious. Where are the Epstein files? Enjoy your afternoon.
Coming a mile away. So, one of your major words that you're using these days is signal over noise.
Bad time to use that phrase, asshole.
This happened on Signal, ironically. To me,
I don't know that's that wouldn't be ironically. That would be poetically. Because the idea is you want more signal than noise, and it happened on Signal. And it's not noise because it actually happened. This is real life, dipshit. Real life where our pilots could have been killed.
this is a lot of noise. The Signal...
No, it's not. Noise is not based in reality. It's abstract. It fills the space and doesn't actually lead anywhere. Asshole.
We know who the enemy is. We're going after the Houthis, part of the Iran... proxies out there. And
that's the word you were looking for.
This was an accident by apparently a capable guy. And
yeah, apparently an accident by a capable guy, a guy who's capable of having massive accidents.
He screwed up. Let's call a spade here. If this were the Biden administration and they accidentally texted Fox News, you don't think the right would be having a field?
Well, sure. Yeah, excellent point.
With the morons in the DEI woke administration, you guys can't even do this. The reality is what Trump said is correct. Well, we carried out the attack. We know who the enemy is.
Sorry, if they texted this Fox reporter and the Fox reporter didn't post what had happened on a strike on something, and then the Biden administration came out and go, well, Sean Hannity didn't talk about it because, before the attack. So what's the big fucking deal? You'd have been okay with that? Well, I mean, let's not make it Sean Hannity. Greg Kelly.
Islamic extremists, Houthis, that are basically, there's been a war in Yemen for over a decade, proxy war between Iran-backed Houthis and Saudi-backed Yemen government. And we know who at least we're solving for. But you know what's funny? Another one of your words this year, Pat, correct me if I'm wrong, is speed.
That is not one of his words. That is, it's the title of a Keanu Reeves movie, actually. It's pretty good. That's one of his words.
So
move fast, break things, act like a dipshit, bull in a china shop, fuck the kids. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, even if those eggs are soldiers in airplanes over the aerial defenses that the Houthis have.
You wrote in your book, here's a little...
you fucking suck up.
Preview to if you're going to buy your...
All right, I'm already bored. You get the point, though. These assholes just spend their afternoon trying to, cover... for Gabbard and all these dickheads. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, and by the way, hi, chat room, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. You're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide, etc., etc., etc. This, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, is indeed the face of a commanding leader, a man who is happy to be taking questions on this particular topic, is looking forward to dealing with this big nothing burger. He's going to down it in 2 fucking bites, dry, no ketchup, no milkshake. Here we go. Trump takes questions from reporters with it and the face just, yeah. Whoop, 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 wah.
Mr. President, are you going to change any of the practices that your national security officials used after a report
Of course not.
was inadvertently added to a group chat about attacks on Yemen?
Well, I think it's a question I've been asked now, and I've given a few answers. And
yes, and none of them have actually dealt with the issue itself.
They've all been the same?
No, they haven't. The first time you said you've never heard anything about it, and it apparently didn't stop the attack because you misunderstood and thought that, I don't know, that the Houthis had been added to a chat or some shit.
We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been.
No, not at all.
We have had a...
We've had times where reporters weren't added to signal groups and battle plans weren't leaked. I'm just saying. Also, if it's the greatest it's ever been, then from this point forward, any terrorist attack on you, just clarifying.
Very, very successful, numerous attacks on that area. These are people that shoot down ships, not only...
Oh dear. I'm less interested in whether they can shoot these ships down, but who has been able to make them fly? The Chinese or the Iranians? They're shooting down ships? I beg your pardon? What? What?
Well, numerous attacks on that area. These are people that shoot down ships, not only our ships, ships all over the world. They're shooting down right out of the water.
Shooting down right out of the water. Right out of the water. Well, congratulations, Mike Waltz. You're no longer the dumbest person in the room. Someone's been shooting down our ships. They've been what? Shooting down our ships, sir. How'd they get in the tree? What? Our ships. How'd they get? You mean sink? Is sink the word you're looking for? Yeah, fuck, yes. Shooting down into the sea. What's the word for that? It starts with an S. Sink. No, I don't need to wash my hands. No, when a ship is hit by a projectile, it sinks. They shot it down.
And damaging them badly, or they're going...
Sure. Well, if they get... I would think that just landing on the water from that height would do some damage.
They're also shooting anything that happens to be flying in the area. We hit them.
Great. Well, I'm glad Pete Hegseth mentioned, apropos of nothing, where our airplanes would be in the area at that time. Fuckwad.
Very, very hard. There was no classified information, as I understand it.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You don't really understand classified information, do you?
They used a app, if you want to call it an app.
I don't. No. I don't think so. I don't want to call it an app. I'm not going to do it anymore. Some people call it an app. I'm just not comfortable calling it an app. Whatever I want to call it. I'll just call it fuckup.com. We'll just call it fuckup.com. They were using fuckup.com. Okay.
That a lot of people use, a lot of people in government use, a lot of people in the media use, and I think...
yeah, but they don't use it for classified information.
I'll ask Mike. Mike is here. Do you want to...
Mike, you want to bail me out, you dumb motherfucker?
Respond to that, please.
Yes, Mr. President, you asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves.
No, you made a big name for Jeffrey Goldberg, you dumb motherfucker. You did. Jeffrey Goldberg didn't make a big name for himself in this. Most people didn't know who the fuck he was. You made a name for him. You introduced him to this chat. You gave him this scoop, you asshole. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. And I would also like to say, look at his face. It's not, might talk a good game, but it's not not going very well currently. Just saying.
Up lies about this president, whether it...
Yeah, they didn't have to make up lies about this president, asshole. That's not what this is about at all. As a matter of fact, you might have taken them away from the busy work of making up lies about the president to just tell some shitty truth about you. Congratulations.
The Russia hoax or making up lies about Gold Star families, and this one in particular I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are...
Well, then how the fuck was he on your phone?
And we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room, but I'll tell you what.
Someone in this room is responsible for the man becoming in this chat, and no one is to leave until we decide who it is and figure out the criminal element. And it is you, sir, J'accuse. J'accuse. Mike Waltz, if that is your real name.
The world owes President Trump a favor.
Do me a fucking favor. They owe him a favor? Really? He's a fucking public servant. It literally the last person we owe a favor. How about it? He's way behind teachers, police, and firefighters and EMTs. When I'm done with the favors I owe to those people, maybe I'll see if I can get around to it. Asshole.
Under Biden, global shipping was shut down. Pinprick attacks, months between them, our destroyers being fired upon dozens of times.
Still happened while you're president. Pinprick attacks? Why are you looking at the president like that? That seems a bit weird. You seem like you're about to let loose.
President Trump took decisive action with his national security team.
That we're not only going to attack people, but we're going to leak at random all of our attacks ahead of time. And maybe we'll get lucky and they'll, I don't know, they'll kill some of our soldiers and give us a reason to go in and just nuke the place.
Took out the head missileer, knocked out missiles, knocked out headquarters, knocked out communication sites. And for once, as we hear, as you all hear from every one of our allies, thank God for American leadership again. Thank God for American strength.
I'd like to say for the record, J.D. Vance thought this was a bad idea and thought the president wasn't aware how it conflicts with his Europe goals and could drive up the price of oil and how it's a mistake. But he was doing some economic shit in Michigan, so whatever, blah, blah, blah.
You're welcome, world.
You're welcome, world. Seriously, dude. How do you unhinge your jaw like that? It's amazing.
And look, we had a national security team that was coordinating these efforts, as Director Radcliffe testified today. His first day on the job, he was...
Why weren't you there, asshole?
Introduced to this app on his government...
He didn't say Hunter Biden, by the way. He said under Biden, for the record.
Systems at the CIA and at the State Department and otherwise. So, look, this journalist, Mr. President, wants the world talking about more hoaxes and this kind of nonsense rather than the freedom that you're enabling and a key part of our sovereignty.
Well, I think the point he's trying to make is that he wouldn't want the freedom that we're enabling to be interrupted by the death of our Air Force personnel because they get shot out of the fucking sky because Pete Hegseth is drunk texting reporters in a fucking open, unsecure app so that he can avoid the Freedom of Information Act requirements to maintain records of conversations.
Open sea lanes and knocking the crap out of terrorists, which is exactly what your team and Pete Hegseth, a good friend and fellow veteran, is leading the charge on, and it's an honor.
We had a very successful, we had a very, very successful evening. And
did you? You had a good bowel movement and a nap?
We've had numerous successful evenings and days in that area, the Houthis.
Really, we've been vacationing there 7 nights and 5 days. Don't ask me how that works out.
They're absolutely on the run. The worst of them has been killed. This should have been done a long time ago by Biden, but Biden was an incompetent president. He couldn't do anything. He didn't know where he was going. He had no clue. This guy had no clue. This should have been done a long time ago.
So we should have just bombed the Houthis and let them know ahead of time?
As they shoot missiles at ships, randomly shoot missiles at ships.
So now we've foregone the war on terror. Now it's a war on random.
And they
so this is the war we're fighting now. We're fighting a war on random now. Hashtag war on random.
make their own missiles. You know, this is not an incompetent group of people. They make their own missiles.
They're bespoke missiles. They sit on the porch and whittle their own missiles.
The missiles also from Iran.
Or, sometimes, they look homemade, and, they may even smell homemade, but you can tell that they're store-bought from Iran.
It's an offshoot of Iran, another offshoot. You have Hamas, you have Hezbollah, you have the Houthis. You got a lot of stuff going on with Iran.
You do, a lot of stuff going on with Iran.
And we sent a letter to Iran. You're going to have to be speaking to us one way or the other pretty soon.
Yeah, we sent them a letter. A very strongly worded letter to the Iranians. If you don't come to the table soon, we're going to tell other people about what we're going to do to you.
Because we can't let this happen. But that's an app that a lot of people use. And somebody got on. Happened to know the guy's a total sleazebag.
Sorry, you included it. So it's okay that Mike Waltz, your NSA, included a total sleazebag in the chat? He invited a total sleazebag in the chat. Why would your national security advisor invite a total sleazebag into the chat? If he's a total sleazebag, how is he even on Mike Waltz's phone? Why does Mike Waltz have the number for a total sleazebag? Hashtag Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
The Atlantic is a failed magazine.
Well, they've gotten a boost now.
It does very, very poorly. Nobody gives a damn about it. This gives it a little bit of
a boost,
a shot.
Sure, a shot at the big time.
I will tell you this: that they've made up.
I have a subscription, and I feel better for it now.
More stories, and they're just a failing magazine. The public understands that.
Okay, so they made up a bunch of stories. This is apocryphal bullshit, but let's follow this chain of logic. They made up a bunch of stories, and they were a failing magazine. So in an attempt to help them salvage their reputation and their positioning in the world, you had your national security advisor invite them into a secret signal group so that you could engage them in one of the worst breaches of national security since 9/11. Genius. Congrats, the Atlantic. A backhanded save from the president.
He's a very good man. That man is a very good man right there that you criticize so strongly.
Nobody really brought that up. Nobody in front of him actually took the piss out of Waltz. That's Trump bringing it up.
He's a very good man, and he will.
At what, though? He may be a fucking killer pickleball player, but he's shit at national security.
Continue to do a good job.
And he is the national security advisor. So I tell you what, maybe his whole job is to tell you what not to do. That's his advice. Do as I say, but not as I do, because I'm a big fuck up. I learned more about national security from watching you nearly get us all killed than I could ever learn from, any kind of book learning, Mike.
In addition to him, we had very good people in that meeting, and those people have done a very, very effective job, and you're going to see it. And it goes on, by the way. It's going to go on. And
my heart goes on, sure.
I think the Houthis wish that...
The Houthis wish that they were the blowfish right now, honestly. That's the thing, I always thought that it was sad that there were a lot of blowfish, but only one Houthi. Now we've reversed that. It's Houthis and the blowfish. And there, I think that it's the balance of power is as God intended now. Houthis.
Didn't happen. But that's what it's all about. We have to create a.
I thought that was the hokey pokey, right? Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Country, a safe world, and that's what we're doing.
Do you think national security was put at risk, Mr. President, of senior officials using
Signal
Do I
moving
plan to
forward?
ban who?
The use of Signal to communicate from senior officials,
Well, I don't know
especially when it comes
I don't know anything about Signal. I wasn't a
I don't know, you're president of the United States and have the greatest memory and the best dialogue and all this stuff, and your team is using it. That's if you don't know anything about it, you're kind of fucking stupid. That's not an excuse if you're the president of the United States. All right. I don't know why I'm surprised.
involved in this, but I just heard about it. And,
you just heard about it?
I hear it's used by a lot of groups. It's used by the media a lot.
Yeah, it's used by the Houthis and the Blowfish. It's used by a lot of Russians, actually.
It's used by a lot of the military, and I think successfully. But sometimes somebody can get onto those things. That's one of the prices you pay.
Yeah, it's it's the price you pay for freedom.
Not sitting in the situation room with no phones on, which is always the best, frankly. But the best is to be there. In fact, oftentimes I've been in fact, just last week I was in the situation room on something very important, and we had a couple of people hooked up by line, and I said, cancel the line. Sorry, fellas, what you do is we'll tell you all about the meeting, because I know people do get on those lines, whether it's
no, they don't.
Signal or anything else. Yeah.
No, the lines that go into the fucking situation room are secure. What I mean, unless you just had people on your fucking cell phone?
Procedures as a result.
Cancel the line.
This. Well, I mean, look, we look at everything, and they've made a big deal out of this because
that's a lot of stuff.
2 perfect months. We're bringing
2 perfect months. That's how most of us look at it. Yeah.
We are bringing in business. We have another one announced tomorrow, a big one, very big, like in the history of.
Hey, real quick, if somebody in your economic team leaked one of these business plan things, and it could have cost you the deal, would you feel the same way if you feel about this, where soldiers could have died?
Country, nobody's ever seen anything like it, and I think
we actually have.
Probably, a lot of people are saying they started by saying it was the greatest first month that
who's this they?
President has ever had, and I think that's true. And now they say it's the best second.
Who's they? Oh, Peanut Butter Dickhead and Glenn Beck. I don't know if they're going to feel this way after this breach.
Month, and they had to find something, and
yeah, they had to find something. They just had to find something. Now, granted, it was your national security advisor who found Jeffrey Goldberg's phone number and invited him into the fucking chat. So I don't know.
This certainly will look at this, but the main thing was nothing happened. The attack was totally successful.
Right, because this total sleazebag, I guess, decided not to tell the Houthis.
It was, I guess, from what I understand, took place during, and it wasn't classified.
During what? The existence of the chat group? Yeah.
Information. So this was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different. But
it is, and it's probably a little bit different.
I always say you have to learn from every experience. I think
that's right. You do. I mean, it's look, we're all growing.
It's very unfair the way they attacked Michael.
You mean the guy who fucked up and invited Jeffrey Goldberg into the fucking chat in the first place? That guy? That Michael? Or is there another Michael in the room besides that dipshit Michael Waltz who fucked up like only Michael fucked up Waltz can fuck up? Say Michael?
He's a good person. The person that was on.
He's not good at intelligence.
Just happens to be a sleazebag, so maybe that's just coincidence. I don't know.
But you are
yes, it's a coincidence that the good man Mike Waltz has a sleazebag on his phone and calls him so often or communicates with him so often that it auto-filled into a signal group, and he ended up invited to listen to top secret battle plans that had it been somebody else who was, I guess, slightly more of a sleazebag, would have ultimately gotten our soldiers killed.
Would it be a problem if the Atlantic released all the text messages if they're not classified?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to ask the military about that because, maybe you wouldn't want that. I don't know. I will say this, from what I heard.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, do we want warplanes to come out right before they happen if our soldiers are flying over an area where they might be shot down? I don't know. 6 of one, half dozen of another.
The man that we're talking about, who's not somebody that I don't think most people have ever heard of.
They've heard of him now. Congratulations. Mike Waltz, if you've done anything, you've made Jeffrey Goldberg a fucking star.
He found it very boring and he left early.
He didn't find it boring. He left because it would be dangerous to stay in it, because he was a civilian that was becoming privy to battle plans legally. He could have been on the hook for traitorous action if he'd stuck around long after that.
He got off the line.
He didn't think it was boring at all, you weirdo. All right. Also, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about this, whatever, but apparently we found out it was boring and he left.
Very early. So.
No, he left after the attack. Because that's the verification. Fuck, what an asshole.
I can't speak to it other than that. So he's made up a lot of stories and I think he's basically bad for the country, but it's a failing.
Dude, he kept secrets better than Hegseth did.
Venture, very failing venture. They're very upset. And a thing like
I don't think they're upset at all. I think they're a lot of people have decided to either continue or up their subscription. Congrats, I guess, to the Atlantic.
This is publicity for them, but I don't think we should allow people that are very good, like that man sitting right at the end of the table who's done a great job. We shouldn't allow them to be hurt by it.
Mr. President,
yeah, go ahead.
Are you saying you're okay with the continued use of Signal by administration officials?
No, that's not what I said. I said we'll look into it, but everybody else.
Yeah, we'll do. Leadership means looking into it. We'll put a committee together. We'll have a round table. We'll sit a minute. We'll put a report together. That's the great thing about having an outsider businessman who never really spent much time in D.C. as president. You don't get the same old oh shit.
To be using it. It seems to be the number one used device or app, whatever you want to call it.
It's definitely not a device. I would definitely not call it a device or whatever.
And we will certainly look. If it was up to me, everybody would be sitting in a room together. The room would have
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Solid lead walls and a lead ceiling and a lead floor.
Well, at least it would explain your mental capacity.
But, life...
Eating lead paint chips, drinking a lead milkshake.
Doesn't always let you do that. In the meantime, the attack itself that we were talking about and discussing has been an unbelievable success.
Well, let's see. U.S. Houthi strike. I mean, it's going to be hard to... Let's see, air campaign. It's a, yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, nobody's even seen anything like this ever. U.S. airstrikes targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels kill at least 2 people. One per bomb. An eighth of a person per bomb. Yes, unbelievable. Just incredible. I don't even know. How do you even chart that level of success?
You will conduct an investigation, is what you're saying into this.
We'll look into it, sure.
Mr. President,
yeah, sure, we're going to look into it.
I would look into it, sure.
Yeah, look into it. Yeah, I would. Yeah, if you look into it. Hey, you know what? I got a good idea. You want to look into it right now? You want to while you're at it? I mean, it's kind of important. See the guy at the end of the table, Michael Waltz, the guy you were just. Yeah, you should talk to him about it. Have a big, long conversation. Just the two of you in his office. Well, no, have a third person there. Make it Radcliffe or Gabbard and have them explain to you how it went down in front of him and then ask him about it. And put Jeffrey Goldberg on speakerphone, I guess, during. Just to keep the trend going. Keep the trend line.
Anything like that, I would ask that. It's not really an FBI thing. It's really something having to do with security. Security, like, will somebody be able to break in? Are people able to break into conversations? And if that's true, we're going to have to find some other form of device. And I think that's
another kind of device. I don't know. Maybe have you thought about maybe a tin can with a string, and then you attach it to another tin can? I mean, problem solved. Maybe a lead can. So, secret.
Thing that we may have to do. Some people like Signal very much. Other people,
those people are called assholes.
Probably don't, but we'll look into it. I think, Michael, I've asked you to
Michael
immediately study that and find out.
Yeah, Michael, look into this. See if you can figure out who the fuck added him. What kind of an asshole that is. Can you write a report up of, like, what kind of a dipshit would let a sleaze bag like that into a chat and have it on my desk by mid-May 2028?
If people are able to break into a system, now in this case, it wasn't that this attack was going on and nobody found.
I'm so lonely and sad. Everyone moved away from me. We were sitting shoulder to shoulder. We were getting bolder and bolder. And now we're older and older and older. And no one likes me anymore. They all won't even look at me. I think they know I'm dumb. What will I ever do to have a friend that will come and save me from? It's so stupid.
About anything. And again, the person that was on, as I understand it, he left very early because he didn't find it very exciting.
So it just didn't have the kind of rating. So what you're saying is your administration is boring even when it's carrying out direct war attacks. Like a big, your attack on the Houthis is a big fucking snooze-a-rooney. That's your defense now? He got bored and left early.
I think it's something you should look into.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Michael, if you could find out who the fuck let this guy in there, I'd really like to have a word with that asshole, whoever he is. Nobody knows. But we find out, all right. Maybe see a sketch artist. Get somebody to draw a picture of whoever it is, his dumb fucking face. Write it down. Maybe that. Asshole. Hey, Fox, do me a favor. Don't forget to check on the hen house on your way out. Okay, thanks.
We have our technical experts looking at it.
Looking at what? Your phone?
Our legal teams looking at it.
Yeah, to see if they can seize your phone without a warrant.
And of course, we're going to keep everything as secure as possible.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, as possible. There's a lot of moving parts. It's hard to keep track of whatever. But, it's as secure as possible while still inviting random reporters onto the chat. So, that possible is a relative term, I think.
No one in your national security team would ever put anyone in danger. And as you've said, and we've repeated.
You already did. Too late.
Said the attack was phenomenal and it's ongoing, but the media wants to talk about everything else except for the hostages you're getting out of the Middle East, Iran on its back foot.
And whose fault is that, Michael fuck up Waltz?
Sea lanes getting reopened, peace in Europe, as we just
Peace in Europe. Yes, finally the Germans and the French have come to terms.
Saw today with a Black Sea ceasefire. We were just on with Steve Witkoff, myself, our team in Saudi Arabia. They want to talk about all this other stuff except for your amazing successes.
Yeah, and who drew attention away from what was actually being done by screwing up like this? I can't imagine who that was. It couldn't possibly be the guy no one wants to make eye contact with at the table. I love her. Look at this. Okay, this is the last time I take the corner seat. Okay, it's not good. All right, don't want to sit here. Okay. And this guy's great too. Wait, this fella, this guy. Is that bus gonna be in here any time? So is it late? It's like the buses usually take this long to get here. Anyways, so it's good stuff. You're doing a bang up job, Mike. Fuck up Walt.
The successes of your team.
One of the other things, and sometimes you have to move very quickly, and there are other devices that are very good, but they are very, very cumbersome, and you're not able to.
Yeah, they take a crank on them, and they run on coal, and you always have to get some fresh, clean coal and shove a piece in there, and because that's always the tough part. And then a lot of times they need a brand new spark plug every time you use them, and you have to screw the thing in, and really, if you got a long fingernail, it gets clipped and pulled, and it's really irritating. Where it's better to just fucking yell out the window towards Moscow.
Use them, and from a practical standpoint. So
look, sometimes national security just isn't practical. Okay, we're in a hurry. We're in a rush.
All we can do is find out the best we have with modern technology.
That's what it is. Yeah. Excuse me. That's true. That's all we have to find. We just, things, is crazy. Sometimes, if you're stuck with dial-up, you're stuck with dial-up. And, that's all we have available right now is, what are you going to do? These devices, this signal machine that, you have to attach this, and you try to go to Home Depot and find the right washer that goes in there, and then you pre-fit it, and then kind of thing. And it takes those really fucked up batteries, the short ones, the 23 amp ones that are not quite a mini C battery, but more than a 9-volt. Like, why not just do a fucking 9-volt? Well, you deal with it. You know what? You just got to deal with what you got to deal with. There's no way around it. It's just. Oh God, this is. One more time.
Cumbersome, and you're not able to use them, and from a
cumbersome. Yeah, that's the problem. These pocket skiffs, they all these pointy edges. You put them in your pocket and it snags your balls. Some apps are too cumbersome. Carrying 2 phones. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask of our CIA director. Yeah, pigeons. You got to carry around a pigeon. It's not optimal, obviously. It shits on your suit pants leg, like that. And you carry it around, it always in there, and people can hear the. So you getting a call? No. Excuse me 1 second. They are on to us. Oh, sorry. Shit.
Practical standpoint. So all we can do is find out the best we have with modern technology. They'll probably get better over the years.
Better over the years. Wherever did you get that idea? Hey, asshole, it already got better. It ain't Signal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead. Something else. Please ask me. Anything else. Anything else. Oh, God. I went over tonight, but I appreciate you guys. Hold on one second. Let me jump back to the chat room. Oh, shit. Oh, God damn, that was fun. There is a level to by which this the failure scope going on here. Why is this? Why don't this stretch out? So there you go. Is so massive, and they really do think they can bluff their way past it. They really do. And I cannot. We all. I don't know if I want to just send Jeffrey Goldberg a big old fruit basket. I don't know how else to thank him for this. The gift of watching these dickheads twist in the fucking wind. Tomorrow is the House hearing on this, which again will be Jim Jordan and others, I guess, throwing themselves in front of the bus for it. But there's a bunch of House members who are going to give them what for. Please let Jasmine Crockett be on that panel. I don't know if she will be, but that would be lovely. In the meantime, I will see you guys tomorrow. I got to bug out and go do the Jack Russell tribute tonight at the Whiskey, and then I'm driving back to Vegas right afterwards. And then I'll be back here on Friday, and it's a lot. Anyways, but we're up and running here. I've just got to improve the camera in this thing because it's a little raggedy. But it beats it, at least you were able to hear and see things. Hey, that is a thing, right? Yes, aloha. Yeah. So and hashtag F47, and I will see you guys later. Oh wait, I have a. Let's see. Do I have a theme on here? Let's go to this guy, and probably have to. Let's go with this guy. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, yes. Where are my scenes? There they are. I'll see you guys in the morning.